video, we're going to talk about Spanish PPC on landing pages. In other words, sending traffic to landing pages that you converted from English into Spanish. How to do this effectively? And is it, more importantly, worth it to do? Because not every single case will doing this actually earn you an ROI. It will get you more conversion rate, but is it going to get you an ROI based upon the cost that it's going to cost to set it up? Naturally, also, anything that you do with your ads, switching it up to another strategy, you're going to get a reduction in your results because the campaigns are going to go back into learning mode most likely for a period of time. I'm going to talk about all the details on this particular video, and then what you can actually earn based upon example markets where we've done this exact thing, so you know how it's going to basically pan out for you as well. So make sure you watch the whole video, because the most important facts about what this actually earns in terms of a reduction in your cost per lead, as well as an increase in ROI, also if you're doing this in terms of e-commerce as well. All of it is going to be covered in today's video here in detail. And of course, how to execute it the right way with all the tips and tricks. I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a PPC/advertising agency that offers guaranteed results to their clients, and we help them with their ads to make them more profitable. We do not take management fees until you are able to earn more profitability from your ads or get to a minimum level of profitability with your ads. Doing online marketing for 20 years now and have been running this agency that specializes in online advertising management for 10 years to give you the information I'm sharing with you in today's video. So getting into the content, while only about 14% of the population speaks Spanish in the United States, it really is only worth it to create a Spanish version of your landing page and ads, because you want to obviously translate both or none in mainstream niches. So you're talking about stuff like a furniture store that everybody eventually has to buy furniture, so it's what I'd consider mainstream. Also, if you're talking about like personal injury law, fairly large section of the population has to experience at one time or another that they need to hire a personal injury firm. It's 1% of the population, or if you will. If you're in a mainstream niche like that, it's going to basically be worth it to set up your ads and translate it into Spanish, because you're going to be able to get enough from that work that you put in to justify the cost of setting it all up. You also have a question as you do this. Should you hire a professional to translate your ads and your landing pages, or should you use something like Google Translate to do it? I can tell you right off the top, generally speaking, you just want to have an actual human do it, because Google Translate's going to make, it's pretty good anymore, but it's still not going to be perfect. And for the cost of it to actually get it translated by an actual, where Spanish was their first language, it's not that much money. We're talking about 10 cents a word in that range. So your typical landing page, you're talking $100? There's no case where that does not make sense to iron out all the little bit of inefficiencies that Google Translate is going to do for you. Now, that said, you can actually take this one step further, and I just made a video about this particular topic in general, how you'll actually make more money, specifically when you're talking about like e-commerce businesses and selling products, given the text on the page you're taking them to is a lot more important in terms of how it's written to generate a certain conversion rate. In those cases, the person you have translate the page not only just understand Spanish and Spanish be their first language, but also they should also understand sales copywriting. Sales copywriting is writing that people that need to generate a result in terms of sales, getting a high conversion rate of people reading something that will translate into a purchase at a high rate. You need to find somebody who not only just knows how to translate something to Spanish, but can do sales copywriting, which these people easily, they exist out there. You could go to Upwork and you can look for a Spanish-speaking sales copywriter and find somebody. And with that, what I'm telling you here is if you had to hire a sales copywriter to get the result you're looking for on the English landing page, you want to do the same thing when you translate this into Spanish. That is an actual sales copywriter writing the content. Otherwise, it certainly may zero out any potential gain that you would have, or even take you backward. So that's something to consider if you're going to go ahead and do this right up front. Of course, if you haven't hired a sales copywriter to do the writing on your landing pages and or website that you're sending traffic to, and you're sending a decent amount of traffic to your site, you need to be considering having a sales copywriter write or rewrite all the content on your site anyway. You don't know how much of a difference this actually makes. Somebody who understands sales copywriting can understand human psychology, and they understand human triggers, so on and so forth. what a lot of people will make the mistake of doing, I know we're getting a bit off track here, but they end up selling too much, doing too much, whereas if they focused on one service, one product, and then just did it really, really well, they would make a hell of a lot more money doing that and then using the money from that to then expand out. And a lot of people make that mistake. So as it pertains to the writing on your pages to begin with and ads thereof, you should be doing it right for a smaller portion of the people you're targeting now, and then use that money to expand out, and you'll end up making a lot more money in the long run. But with that said, okay, here are the example niches where we've actually translated something from English into Spanish, and you can see the difference in results that we got. As a side, if you do want to do this, you could go out there and try to find a sales copywriter who also understands Spanish and hire them, or somebody who's just trusted that can translate your stuff. If you don't want to do that and you want to understand how to just get these results for sure, and if it's going to be even worth it for you to do it, you could easily also just reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com, and I'll let you know for sure, basically, is it going to be worth your time with 90+% confidence before you even dip your toes in the water with it. And so you don't waste your time, you don't waste your money. We provide guaranteed result thereof on the work that we're doing for you. So if you don't get an increase in profitability, you don't have to pay our firm a management fee, and you do have that as well. If you're interested in that, just let me know. You can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. You can also, if we've worked in your niche market before, just take the pre-translated template of landing page and ad. Like for instance, in the personal injury space, we've done this. If you're in that space, you want it all translated for you, just use the winning version of what we've used already, buy it from us outright, and then it's all done for you and you don't have to do anything. We also sell those templates. As is, we sell hundreds of different templates for 100+ different niche markets we've been in. That is the easiest way to get results in a niche market that we've been in before, that we're getting results with now or have in the past in one geographic area and you're in another. It's just to take the winning version of what we've made in one area, apply it to what you're doing in that other area, and get turnkey results. We got people that use these templates, buy them from us. They're able to get such a low lead cost. They can just sell leads to people in that industry, and that's what several people have done with our templates, which just goes to show you how efficient these are. So getting back into the actual case studies here, I mentioned about personal injury law, okay? So what we have here is I have a range where you can expect from the English speakers and then the Spanish speakers. Granted, okay, and 80% of our work just happens to end up being from Google ads and Microsoft ads and not Facebook ads, because Facebook's gotten not so profitable recently, and most people, when they come to me, they ask about Google ads. Maybe the word's got around that I'm so good in that area, and that's just how things have went in the past. But with this, if you're wondering how to get these results, so to say, what this is going to represent is what the English traffic is generating results on, and then what the Spanish traffic is generating results on. When we translated the ad on the landing page from English to Spanish, if you're talking about Google search ads here, also technically with Facebook, the campaign settings, you set things up to target users in Spanish. So what you should do to actually execute this and get these same results, not only do you need to know to translate everything into Spanish to do actually all this, but you should take the English campaign, create a second campaign that targets users in Spanish, because you could do that in the campaign settings, and then have your ad in Spanish and your landing page in Spanish. And what that actually does, by the way, is it gets the user who searches in Spanish to see your Spanish version of the ad, even though they're typing in, looking for the same thing. If they type the personal injury lawyer, for instance, in Spanish, then they're going to see the Spanish version of your ad with your Spanish landing page and your Spanish ad and your Spanish campaign. And if they type in personal injury lawyer in English, they're going to see the English ad and the English version of your landing page once they click on that English ad, just so you understand how all this works. So with that said, what was the difference now starting off in terms of what results we got in the personal injury space for the English traffic versus the Spanish? So right off the bat, we got $150 cost per lead for English traffic, which I know a lot of people that I've heard from on this channel before, how that seems so low or it's ridiculously low, and they're paying as much as $500 a lead for personal injury law leads nowadays, which if you're just doing everything average, that's the type of results you're going to get, which is why you want to subscribe to this channel and understand how things are done by somebody who spends all their time and every day just doing ad testing to find out the best ways to run Google ads as well as Facebook ads and so forth, and subscribe to this channel and learn so you can get, lead costs, frankly, that are 20-25% of what other people are paying with an average strategy. Getting back to the topic at hand here, when we switched it to Spanish speakers, we got $60 a lead, which is a ridiculously low lead cost if you know anything about the personal injury space. given case sizes are often 5, 6, even 7 figures. And that leads sell in those space, if you're buying leads out in the open market, are at $200 to $300 anymore. If you got lead costs like that, you can sell those leads and just mark them up, make a business out of it in and itself. But the general reason why, though, we're able to get a lead cost less than half of what we started with is simply because we're just eliminating a lot of the competition. When your ad is in Spanish and the other ads are not in Spanish, you actually, instead of having 10 competitors, now you have 2 or 3. And so naturally your click-through rate is going to be much higher. The higher the click-through rate you get, the lower the cost per click is going to be. Therefore, the lower the cost per click is going to be, the lower your cost per lead is going to be. It's really that simple. So yeah, only 14% of the people will be benefited by your Spanish translated ad. Of the people who do see it, the lead cost is going to be much less. Therefore, your margins are going to be much, much, much higher. And when you get down to brass tacks and you look at your profitability of your Google ads as a whole, if you're doing this for yourself and you're in the personal injury space, 30 to 40% of your profit is going to come from just the Spanish speakers because the margins is so much better on that. So that you should really put that into perspective for yourself. And this applies to anything you're doing. There's a lot of little tricks that I talk about on this channel that you could use to get more click-through rate, more conversion rate from your traffic, and that's how you always make more money with ads. But it only will get you another 10% or 20%. At the end of the day, that extra click-through rate gets you free money, and that increases your margins, and it actually increases your profitability a lot more than you think. But more so, you get 10% here, 20% here, 10% here. When you do 30 or 40 of these small tricks I talk to you about on this channel, it adds up to millions of dollars. And that's how you make the millions setting up Google ads for your business. And you actually end up doing really, really well for yourself. And once it's set up, it just keeps working and working. There's a point where you put the work in and now you're just going to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But anyway, with that said, that gives you a general idea in terms of the hyper-competitive personal injury law space, what you can actually do with it. So that's one example of a market that it would be absolutely worth it to translate your pages into Spanish. SR22 or high-risk car insurance is another space where we did this. Now, one thing you'll see with all these different examples that I gave you here, for the most part, they're all lack of being politically correct here, low income. Because naturally, it is what it is. The Spanish-speaking population in general has a lower average income. So if you're targeting like high-end custom cabinetry and that's your niche, well then it's probably not going to be worth it for you to translate your stuff into Spanish because the percentage, 14% of the population speaks Spanish, your customer is probably 1% Spanish. So just stating the obvious here. And you guys know if you watched any amount of my videos, I don't try to be politically correct. I don't give a damn what you think about when you watch my videos. I just want to get the information out there. So you should know that. SR22 or high-risk car insurance. We had a client who did this. Cost per phone call was about $20 a call, approximately before, or just to say overall, when we did not hyper-segment and have a different funnel just for Spanish speakers, when we did, we got it down to about $8 a call, which is insanely good and profitable, which gives you another example of a market where you would directly benefit you of creating a Spanish-speaking funnel for your company. Another one is in the used car dealership space. So it was a car dealership specializing in selling used cars. We were getting about $27 a store visit, which there's a way to track foot traffic into your store if you're a local business. If you did not know that, primary way that works is you link up your Google business profile with your ad account, and then they can see if somebody's clicked on your ad. Then later on with their cell phone, did they wind up to going to your business? Because they can do through GPS tracking. We're getting about $27 a store visit, whereas when we did the Spanish campaign, the Spanish-speaking people it was about $16 a store visit. So the drop per conversion, if you will, wasn't quite as dramatic there. It's certainly still worth it. And I attribute that, by the way, to most people understanding inherently what a car dealership is. The text on the screen is irrelevant. As long as it says used car dealership and it has the map, you're done. So therefore, what you should take away from this video is the more technical of what you sell is, the more of a decrease in cost per conversion or increase in ROI you can expect from the Spanish-speaking users by setting this up. So that's the one thing I want you to get most out of this video, is what I just told you there. And as a side, like I said, if this trick, you like information like this, you absolutely want to subscribe to this channel because I have hundreds of small little tricks like this that can get you more out of your campaigns to get you to the multi-million-dollar a year business that you want to create for yourself on the backs of doing advertising better than all your competition in your market. If you want to know how to do it, you can't complain about not finding that information because it's here. It's here because I spend 40 hours a week doing ad testing and strategy at our agency on dozens of different ad accounts to find the information out that you need and want to have for applying your account. So you should subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and you should go ahead and check out my blog if you haven't seen that yet either. My blog has the actual step-by-step instructions to apply the strategies that we're using to guarantee clients results at our firm, and has screenshots, has the whole shebang, everything you would need to use those strategies for yourself that you can literally copy paste in your ad account to get those results for yourself. You should also check that out as well if you haven't already. Getting into the next one, payday loans, okay? We started out with a $33 cost per visit. We got it down to about a $20 cost per visit, store visit, trackable store visit, once we actually had the Spanish version of everything running and sending the Spanish speakers to that separate funnel. We also did this for a furniture store. So as you can see here, we've done this many times. Any single time where we're going to be targeting the general public, it's a fairly mainstream niche, and we know that there'll be a lot of Spanish-speaking people going there. We're going to do this every time because it works so damn well. So therefore, if you think this even halfway applies to you or could apply to you, you should damn well get off and do it because it makes a lot of money. Furniture store, we went from $41 a store visit to $19. And as you see also a lot of these, it's either lead generation or local brick and mortar. Yes, that's where we usually get more benefit there, but that doesn't just apply to that. We also did this in the e-commerce space before. We had a soccer apparel company, which obviously for Spanish speakers, soccer is a big thing or a bigger thing. Absolutely, obviously want to do it there as well. But the results and the spread and the results that you're going to get doing this, catering to the Spanish-speaking people when you can, is just as good. We went from 350% ROAS on our Google Ads for that account, roughly speaking, to over or close to a 700% ROAS on the Spanish speaker traffic, translating the ad and the entire website for the Spanish speakers. It was hard for me to convince the client, translating the whole damn site into Spanish, just so that we could tell the Spanish speakers what they wanted to know in Spanish, and also written by an actual sales copywriter that knows, because content on that site was written by the owner, understands what people want to hear, and they're not a dummy when it comes to marketing. Having to hire someone who really knows what they're doing and it's going to charge you $3 a word to translate every word on that site into Spanish. It was hard to convince that client to even do it. It's because they're going to be spending $10,000+ to translate an entire website into Spanish. However, at the end of the day, getting double the ROI on that section of the traffic, which we're talking of the total traffic coming to that site, was more so 20% of the total traffic coming to that site, just due to the nature of the niche, massive increase in profitability. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in extra revenue by doing that one simple little tweak or trick. Anyway, with all that said, that kind of spells out just how powerful the strategy is and where and why you'd want to do it. If you have any questions as to whether it will work for you, naturally you can reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. I offer free consultations, or initial consultations, I should say. And if you want to ask me personally, you could, or you can just leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you, by the way, have a question not related or pertaining to translating your content, your ads, your landing pages into Spanish, you can actually just ask it in the comment section. I'll get back to you anyway. I love to be able to get back to my viewers of this channel just as a way of saying thank you for helping the channel grow. Comments, breed more, help in the algorithm. But with that said, hopefully that inspires you to get off your butt, pay what you need to pay to get it translated into what you have translated into Spanish, and shows you what the potential of it is. But with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.